Hey YouTube. Well, as we know, there's been a lot of talk about FEMA coffins for a while back, but that talk has been subsided a lot. Apparently not the big scoop anymore. And I got here an article from the Conservative Post that Obama secretly orders $1 billion worth of FEMA coffins. Obama has been working for a long time on American FEMA camp. He's getting ready if a civil war starts again. His administration, there's a little bad grammar there. During the course of the revolt, many will die, both in battle and in the camps. An inevitable circumstance Obama is already preparing for. The current president of the United States, among other things, has already ordered for $1 billion worth of disposable coffin liners around the country, stored in around the country is stored with 5 million what will be FEMA coffins in various locations. The containers are excessively large for one person, and as the commenter notes, could hold 3 to 4 bodies. So we are talking about a displacement of dead human beings in between 15 to 20 million people. So I did a little fun here just to calculate. Let's just say that one coffin costs $75. They're probably more expensive, but let's just say that. And divide that with $1 billion. And that gives me the number of 13,333 coffins. If I multiply that with, let's just say four bodies in a coffin, we will get up to that amount of coffins can house 53 million people. Plus, let's just say it gives itself, we will be up around 70 million people that can be housed in these coffins. Where they're going to dispose of those coffins, I haven't got the slightest clue, but probably somewhere inside a mountain or deep underground somewhere, so be out of sight. Maybe that relates to these vast caverns that has been excavated around Denver International Airport. They got some serious room underneath the ground there in the mountain. So that might be a place for them to store all these dead human beings. And you know, we know where everything is going. We know what they're working for. That is their new world order, bringing in their Antichrist. And now I want to speak about this planet thing again, because I got this message this morning with a link to Keck Observatory in Hawaii, and he is pointing towards the date of the 26th of this month. But what I'm seeing in that picture is a little strange, because if you look at the 26th of that month, we will have a moonset at 7:53 a.m. in the morning. It rises at 7:29. But what I did was I looked them all through up to the 26th to see if there was any anomalies, and I surely found an anomaly that I cannot explain. It seems like that something is really messed up. So I'm just gonna go over on them and explain. I have from the 1st of December, the 10th, the 18th, and the 26th of December. And I want you to pay attention to the time frame, and I want you to pay attention to the sky. I'm not speaking about Nibiru, but something is weird. Something is way off here. and I'll explain that as they roll. Okay, here we go. As you see, the sun is setting now, right? And the sky becomes dark. And we are talking about now, it is 7, almost 8 o'clock in the evening on Hawaii. And we see the Milky Way is coming down. Everything is appearing normal here. The moon is still in the sky, it's actually risen. And it will come to a moonset in the early morning hours. But what I want you to pay attention to, that is, now it's actually almost midnight in Hawaii, or on Hawaii. Right now it's midnight. Why is the sky blue? Does someone care to explain to me why the sky turns blue in the middle of the night? Now it's actually 2 o'clock in the morning and the sky is blue. This is from December 1st of 2015. As far as I know, Hawaii do not have the midnight sun. That is only something that occurs above the Arctic Circle. We got the Pleiadians coming down there. We also got Orion coming into the picture. But it is very peculiar. And what's happening right there, this condensed. What's going on? Did you just see that? Something weird. I actually recorded both all these 4 sequences, these 4 recordings. I recorded them twice so we can see them, and maybe in the first one someone noticed something or not, but noticing it in the latter. But as you see, it is dark. It is 22:47. That means it's evening. And the sky turns blue. I mean, like daylight. It looks like daylight. But that's not the time. I mean, it's midnight. Now it's 1 o'clock in the morning. The sky's blue on Hawaii. That's the Keck Cosmic Cam. That is an observatory they got there on top of the mountain. And they got a spectacular view over the horizon and the night sky, which do not appear like night. But now this weird backdrop that I have been speaking about a lot is coming down. And I don't know if that relates to what I have been talking about, that we have a 3D liquid sky used in the in the chemtrails for blocking out and cloaking stuff that might be in the sky, because we are being told to look up, and the stars is for signs and seasons. That we've been explained, and that whole stick, Pleiadians coming down there, and it have a bluish color to it, funny enough. And you can see there's a backdrop out in the foreground. And now the sky is again turning, and it is early in the morning, and the sun don't rise at 6:30 in the morning and becoming this bright. That's simply impossible. It's still dark because we have turned our clocks back. But as you see, we have this weird backdrop in the foreground, and as the webcam is showing, it kind of looks like that this backdrop is actually behind the stars in some form or fashion, and I can't explain that. But you see here on this recording 10 days later, it's fairly bright, dark, and now again this weird backdrop is coming down right there. And then we go on to December 17th. The sun is setting. You're seeing this picture often from the Mexico camps, this flare up after sunset, and it remains light for an hour, which is also very strange after sunset. I have noticed that myself, especially when I'm driving in Kentucky. it stays light for an hour after sunset. That's highly unlikely, but it does. And here we are supposedly to have the moon to set, because it should be around midnight it's setting. But look at the coloration, and look how the chemtrails are coming in out of nowhere. There haven't been any spraying, but it shows up anyway, out of nowhere. Now you see it's getting dark. It's very dark. I just can't explain that, and it looks like what is coming in from the foreground is actually behind the stars. You see that? Because you can still see the stars inside this veil which is appearing in the sky. I cannot explain that. Orion out there to the left coming down. And here we again I have in the morning hours, and then something weird is happening. Sun is setting again. This is the same recording on the 17th. And you see how a long time it stays bright. How long the sky stays blue. Which is highly unlikely. It's not supposed to be this bright, but it is. And we got a very bright shiny object coming down, which is supposedly, according to the calculations or the moonrise and moonset for Hawaii, that's supposedly to be the moon. But look how reddish it is. Look how bright it is. It almost looked like another sun setting. Almost. I'm not saying it is, because according to their webpage, that's supposedly to be the moon. So what's going on, I don't know. But you see the veil is kind of like above. Looks like they're above the stars. Can you see that? That's very strange. Very, very strange. Is that chemtrails up in space? Because they've been talking about spraying chemtrails in space. Not just inside our atmosphere. Now the early morning hours. Now we're coming to the one on the 26th, which he wanted me to see. And again we have the sunset at 6:30, 6:40. And look, the sky stays very bright. We've got a little rainbow there. And supposedly to be dark now. I mean pitch black. And millions of stars showing in the sky. Why is the sky still blue like daylight? We're freaking having 11 o'clock in the evening now. Would someone care to explain that without being a jerk? How that can be? I'm telling you, there's something else out there shining. This is impossible. It's 1:30, 1:40 in the morning. And the sky's blue. I mean, hello? It's supposed to be pitch black. If there's no moon, you wouldn't be able up there to see a hand in front of you. And yet, we got blue sky. And we got something coming down there, which is, according to the webpage, the moon. Well, that's a very bright moon. Able to make the sky blue. You have never seen the moon turn the sky blue. Never. But in this case, according to the webpage, that is supposedly to be the moon. Now it's 9 o'clock in the evening. It's freaking still bright. That is so peculiar. You can still see the stars on a blue sky. You can't see the stars like that in daylight. Ever. Yet you can see them. You can't see the stars when the sun is out. Right? We got a perfectly blue sky right there. It's not even getting dark. In fact, it's getting brighter. I have no idea what's going on here. Pleiades is coming down, and in a moment Orion out on the left. I can't explain it. I surely can't. And now this moon is supposedly to be setting, but look how bright it is, and look how it shines in the night. Now isn't that weird? Over and out. Okay, so here's the chart. You can see the moon set, at what time of day the moon is setting, and according to the recordings it seems to hold water, definitely, that it is supposedly to be the moon setting. You can go to the 26th, which the one I was told about. On the 25th it's supposedly to be full moon. So at 7:53 the moon is setting in the morning in Hawaii, on Hawaii. So the webcam is showing it, but yet we have a clear blue sky, and we have stars showing up, and a lot of them on a blue sky. That's highly unlikely. So I'm still saying, and I still stay with that, this is my picture from Sherman, there is something else illuminating our night sky. There is something that is giving off a lot of light, and in some regions it can be seen, and in some regions not. You see, I have so many times explained to you what they can do with the chemtrails. They can do a lot of so-called magic with the chemtrails. They can obscure, they can create false colors, which they can match with the night level, with the sky itself. I have a video on a link below calling Chemtrails Hiding Nibiru. I strongly suggest, before you start shooting the messenger, me, that you watch that and understand what they are capable of with the chemtrails. It is a part of Project Bluebeam too, I know that. It's also a part of weather modification. It got many different agendas in the chemtrails. But what I'm convinced of, that is, they're using the chemtrails to keep status quo, keeping our weather in check as much as they possibly can, but sometimes they are a little, they can't do it. But in most cases they can. But if they let go of all this chemtrailing, I can assure you, your daily life down here on planet Earth will be downright miserable. But yet, some is claiming that this is the moon, right? I mean, you need to snap out of your daydream, because if this is the moon giving off this much light in this coloration, as it is on the picture, it's yellow, like our own sun. The moon is not yellow, it's gray, and it will never give a light like that. And if that is the moon is behind the sun, reflecting the light down to us. The moon is in between the sun and the earth, correct? Yet, if the moon is in this position to the sun, we're talking new moon. Moon is not visible. You can't see it. End of story. You cannot see the moon on a new moon. And if it was not a new moon, but it would be the first day in the first phase, the moon would be crescent. Do you see a crescent moon here? I don't. I see a very large object giving off its own light, and clearly on the image is showing that this is a spherical object, and it's definitely bright. It is extremely bright, and is being shadowed by a chemtrail. And the reason why I took these pictures and this showed up was because I was seeing the chemtrails changing color back and forward, from being orange to black and then back again. And they kept doing that for 15 minutes, and I just kept shooting pictures of it because I found that was very strange. How can they do that? That's impossible. Clouds don't just change color. I mean, going from being luminous orange like you see here, and then becoming a total black line. That's not possible unless you watch the video Chemtrails Hiding Nibiru. Then you will understand what it is they're capable of with this chemtrails. And why you're seeing all these so-called cell phone towers standing on the ground, because they're part of this project. And you gotta ask yourself, why are they needing high voltage for these cell phone towers? If you walk up to one of those fenced cell phone towers with a giant control module building standing next to it, you can see on the fences saying high voltage. They're sending out microwaves, people, to excite the atmosphere, to excite the chemtrail, and giving it the right frequency and velocity to change colors. And I'm proving that in that video. You have to watch that before you shoot me down to understand what it is they're capable of with this chemtrails. I mean, they can do magic in the sky for you, and you will believe that lie. But this picture don't lie. This is just snap, 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 snap while I'm driving down the road, because I was just baffled because of the changing colors back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. I believe it was at least 10 times the colors were changing in between being bright orange to black, and then back to orange, and then black, and back to orange, and then black. And it had nothing to do with where the sun was. It even happened before the sun even broke the horizon. I was sitting and watching it while I was being unloaded in Sherman, Texas. And then I'm driving down the road, keep shooting because it keeps occurring. This change between the colors. Black and orange, black and orange. And what is on the picture here? A luminous body, clearly spherical, having its own light being blocked by the chemtrails. At the top, at 1 o'clock, and at the bottom from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. This is another body, and it's not the moon, because the moon will not appear like that in the position related to the sun. It's impossible. You need to use your brain a little here, instead of just saying that's the moon, that's Jupiter. Have you ever seen Jupiter that big on the sky? Whoa, we would be in trouble if it was that close, I can assure you that. It's none of our planets. None of them. It's something else. And I know what it is. It is that thing coming in. That picture shows it. Call me a lunatic? That's your problem. It's not my problem. Because I know this thing is real. And it's coming. And there's nothing you can do about it. Except prepare and get right with our Lord. Because His day is coming. And you're watching it right there. That's His arrival. For the great day of the Lord. The great terrible day of the Lord. And if you read Revelation, what's going on planet Earth, when that occurs, that's not a bedtime story, people. You shall be baptized in fire and brimstone. Beyond your belief, your wildest imaginations. No flooding, He promised never to do that again, but next time, it will be with fire. It's going to be a very hot day on planet Earth when that becomes. God bless you.